Hello everyone, I'm Johnny Jungleguts, the top-notch gamer, aka the top-notch gamer, and I am here today on Let's Gay with...
Mari from We the Geeks of East LA.
The den mother of We the Geeks of East LA. Tell everyone a little bit about what We the Geeks
Well,
is.
We the Geeks is a group from, of course, East LA. It's just a bunch of us that got together and decided, hey, we love being geeks, and we're not afraid to show it. So we go to cons together, we do videos, photo shoots, and we like charity stuff as well, like you do. We go visit kids in hospitals, we do like different charity events, so we're all over the place, showing our geek pride.
Sure, and when you go to hospitals, you go in...
Yeah, we go in costume. Our main costumes are, we go as a Power Rangers.
Yes.
Because we're big, huge Power Ranger fans. And the kids love, I mean, when you see someone dressed as Power Ranger, especially if you're a kid, they're like, holy, it's the real Power Rangers.
Yeah, they get pumped, huh?
Yeah, and sometimes the parents are more pumped because they're like, I used to watch you back in the day, and you're just like, oh, we're here to see your kid. And they're like, wait, let's take selfies first. And we're like, okay, cool. So. And
you guys also make YouTube videos, different types of Power Rangers YouTube videos. Yeah. Some of those have over like 1 million views.
Yeah, it caught us way by surprise. We just started it as part of, one of the Power Rangers was having a contest, like, recreate an episode, and we did it, and then from there people were like, you guys should make more, you guys are cool. And then we were just like, well, I guess, like, it was just a boring day, we started making one, and from there it just kind of picked up, and all of a sudden, like, it was thousands of views, and then suddenly millions. One of them is at 16 million right now, I
16 million?
Yeah, so it's intense.
What's it of?
It's of one of our little members, because we have junior members.
That's
that are, like,
right.
Little kids. It's just him morphing, but I think people connect to it because little kids see him, and with their special effects, they're just like, that kid turned into a Power Ranger, like, that could be me.
Wow, that's so special. That's such a special thing that you're giving to the kids.
Yeah.
That fantasy. And, I really think a lot of what you were saying comes through in the videos. Like, it really feels like you're just doing them, like, because you're just a bunch of friends. You didn't have you're just hanging out that day, and you just made a video. But some of the, special effects are pretty impressive.
Yeah, usually, I mean, we make scripts, but since we're all such good friends, we're kind of like, all right, we're going to wing this whole part. And since we all kind of vibe so well together, it just works.
Yeah.
And then later, the special effects, my boyfriend does all of them, and he went to film school, so that kind of gives us, like...
a little edge.
Yeah, a little edge, and, like, he really works hard on he'll
those,
stay up all night doing the special effects.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, it's worth it, because we go to cons, and little kids are like, oh, it's you guys, like, I watch your videos, and we're just like, oh my gosh, don't cry right now.
Oh my gosh.
It's so sweet, yeah. They're just like, do you know Zordon? Because they think we're the real Power Rangers.
Right, they can't separate it. I mean, I feel like you guys are the closest thing I know of like, to real-life superheroes, because you... on your Facebook page, you have that picture of the 5 of you kind of lined up in a row.
Yeah.
And you just look so, like, badass, too.
Thank you. We felt pretty bad. When we put it up, we're like, wow, we're legit now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah. And what was the last con you guys went to?
The last con, I believe, was Long Beach Comic Con, or Comic Expo, which was really nice because a lot of people came up to us, they recognized us, and they were just telling us, like, the really nice thing is they were saying, like, I felt like I was too old to like this stuff, and then I saw your videos, and now I went and bought a Power Ranger shirt, and I wear it.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's the start, but then it, it grows, like, oh, now I'm going to cons, now we're cosplaying, like, it's just nice that they see us, and they're like, you guys aren't afraid to, like, geek out, even though we're older, so it's kind of like, we're the gateway, like, anyone can do this.
Right. And, I think you guys, too, have expanded my own sort of appreciation of Power Rangers as an adult because, sometimes the writing isn't the best.
Yeah.
Let's
sometimes
admit.
I watch and I'm like, this is so cheesy. But yeah.
But I think that the martial arts and the costume design...
Oh, I love the costume so much. Like, I'm studying costume design right now, so, like, I always talk about Power Rangers in class, and they're like, you and your Power Rangers? I'm like, no, but look at the designs, like, they made specific choices, and they're so cool.
Yeah, it's very impressive, a lot of it. It's very, very impressive.
And those helmets, I mean, who doesn't want to put the helmet on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you usually do the Yellow Ranger.
Oh yeah, I'm the designated Yellow Ranger. Gotta rock the Trini pride. So I always love Trini. You know, she's smart and she's beautiful and she can kick butt. So.
And I also think of Trini as being very like level-headed. Like she doesn't get upset quickly.
Yeah.
She's like a sort of silent leader, and I think that's a trait that a lot of Yellow Rangers share. I've noticed is that they're sort of like a little bit more laid back, but they like keep things from like getting really crazy.
That's why I connect with her, because like in our group, I'm the only girl besides our little tiny pink ranger, and I'm surrounded by a bunch of crazy guys. So I'm kind of like the one that has to be like, guys, let's just do this. Let's all be calm. I'm like keeping them level-headed because they're all crazy in the good way. Yeah, they're crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And do you guys make a little money off those YouTube videos, or?
Yeah, we do. I mean, it's not a lot, but it's something. And lately, we've started giving to charities that we like.
Yeah.
So, and then it's also right now, since we're still growing, we use it to invest in more costumes. And then later on, when we have more, we'll be like, now we can do all the things we want to do, you know?
Right.
Like, I like to go on Instagram, and last month, there was this little boy who sells drawings for money so his mom can make blankets for kids in the hospital. Aww. So, like, we donated money to him because it was just, like little causes like that, you know?
Yeah, that's really special.
So, it's just nice to give back.
Wait, he sells drawings?
Yeah, it's like a little 5-year-old, and he just draws stick figures of like cartoons or superheroes, and he posts them on Instagram, and he was like, oh, selling this one for $10, and like $10 buys the material for one blanket to donate to the hospital. So it's really sweet.
Wow, that is really cute.
Yeah.
And see, I think what you guys are doing is very interesting because it's combining Power Rangers, which is something that was going out and being all across America and being this very national thing, and using that to like do stuff within your community.
Yeah. I mean, I think Power Rangers, even though of course it has the cheesiness, it always has a good message, which is what we try to get across.
Sure.
So, like, we've done little skits at different charity events. We've done skits where, like, we're the Power Rangers, but we're teaching them, like, clean your room, like, respect your parents, do your homework. So, kids will listen to Power Rangers.
They will listen. I remember even on the old episodes, some of them, they would have, like, a little, sort of, like, PSAs at the end.
Like, at the end of the episode, yeah.
One of those was really good because it was like, okay, just because you see us doing karate on TV, don't...
Oh, yeah, I remember, like, don't do it in real life, don't get hurt. So, it's just lessons like that where, like, I mean, kids will listen because we're dressed up like Power Rangers. They'll automatically be like, yes, you know, they said it. Let's listen to them.
Sure. And you guys do anti-cosplay bullying.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, we've all kind of been victims to it, sadly. I'm Hispanic, and I've heard, you can't do Harley Quinn because you're Mexican, and you don't have blue eyes. And I was like, okay, thanks for the opinion. I'm still going to do Harley all the time. Yeah. I love her. So, yeah. Like, it's just sad that kind of stuff's out there, because I mean, I'm sure you started cosplaying like the same for fun.
Yeah.
Like, you do it for fun.
But when it starts to enter into that sort of professional realm, then do you think why people...
Yeah, I think more people like judge, or they're more, like, they feel like, oh, you're a public figure, so we're entitled to say what we want. And it's kind of like, well, you don't have to be disrespectful or straight out mean.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like it's also just it's just sort of like why be mean about it?
Yeah.
People are just trying to have fun.
There's just some ugliness. I'm like, we're just gonna be over here having fun, and you guys can be over there like complaining from your computers. So. And
that's what a part of the reason why I liked your video so much, and why I actually screened it at that show, that art show with the Pokemon drawings that I had. I did this art show where I drew all 800 Pokemon, but part of that was a video screening of like nerdy videos and art videos that use nerd culture. And one of the videos I screened was you guys, because it was so exciting to see. You know, a group of kids, they were, you know, all Latino, saying we can still be a part of this community.
I think that's basically why we started the group. we felt like growing up in our community, it wasn't like, oh, it's cool to like that stuff. It's kind of like, why do you like kid stuff? Like, you should grow up. And we'd be like, because we like it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of felt like we made the group so other people wouldn't be afraid to be themselves.
Yeah.
And now it's people everywhere. They're like, oh, look at my cool Power Ranger shirt or this or that. And they're just like, we found our community within the community.
Yeah.
So it's like the safe place.
Mm-hmm. And the video you made, it was for a contest that Jason David Frank, the green and white, and he's been a million different types of Rangers.
Oh, yeah.
So, did you win that contest?
We won second place, I believe.
Okay.
But it kind of, like, even if we didn't win, after we filmed it, we all kind of got this, like, click. We're like, whoa, this was cool, you know? Like, we made something.
Yeah.
So, after that, we were like, we should do more. Like, it was fun.
Mm-hmm.
So, I really liked it.
Yeah. So who are sort of like the main members of the group, and who do they cosplay as?
Okay, well, I'm Mari Me. I'm the Yellow Ranger, of course.
Yeah.
So my boyfriend, he's our leader, Carlos. He's the Green Ranger, who is also the red. He has so many. He has like 20 costumes now of different Rangers. But lately, he's been doing all reds. Yeah. So he's our leader. Then our friend Harvey's always our Blue Ranger. He's like he acts like the Blue Ranger, you know, he's sweet and geeky and quiet, but he's so lovable. Mm-hmm. And then my boyfriend's brother, he's our Black Ranger. He's like the dorky one. And then we have our mini ones, Jasmine and Luis, who are little pink and our little white. Yeah. So all together, we're like, we have other people that come and go and help us, but we're the main, like, we the geeks who run everything.
Sure. Yeah. And one of those little guys, you surprised him on his birthday at school?
Yeah, it was his birthday, and we were like, we want to do something cool, you know? Like, because he loves Power Rangers. Yeah. The reason we got back into watching it, because he was like, hey, I found this show, can we watch it? And we were like, Power Rangers? Like, yeah, cool, let's watch it. So we were just like, he gets out in an hour, put on your costumes and let's go. Like, wait. And all the kids flipped out. They were just like, there's real Power Rangers and they know you. So it was just so magical, like, seeing them, like, believe that we were there. Mm-hmm. So it was really nice. Even the parents were like, oh my god, there's Power Rangers.
Yeah, because, you know, we're getting to the age where it's getting to the point where the parents grow up with Power Rangers, too. There's been like 20 seasons of Power Rangers now.
I know, we're getting up there.
What are some of your favorite seasons?
My favorite season is Lost Galaxy. Yeah. Which is right after space, when it's kind of like they're leaving Earth, and it just feels like something so real, you know, because you never know what we're doing to our planet. Who knows? We might have to go
leave.
Into space.
Sure.
But it was just so real because it was like the lottery, and not everyone got to go. And he like snuck onto the ship. And
which character sneaks onto the ship?
One?
The Red Ranger, yeah.
Because he wants to be part of like the mission that finds a new planet.
Is that Andros? Is that character?
No, Andros is space.
Okay.
Yeah, this one is Leo the space. So I just like he was so determined. He did all this crazy stuff just to get on that ship, and then they were all kind of band of misfits, you know? Yeah. Like, they kind of got forced to work together, and in the end, they became really good friends. And I feel like that's how we are. Like, we all came together randomly, but we are family now.
Yeah. Is that the season with Kendricks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the death, that was intense.
That was intense. That was the first time a Power Ranger ever died.
Yeah, I remember I had it, like, when we rewatched it, I didn't remember that. And when I saw that, I was crying because I was like, oh my god, they just killed someone off. Like, it was so much.
It was
you don't
shocking.
expect it. We were just like, and she sacrificed herself for the Pink Space Ranger, and we were just like, well, she's dead. How do we explain this now?
Right, exactly. And also, wasn't the whole thing that the actress who played her, she had cancer?
Yeah, so it was a bunch of like.
That's the whole thing is really so. There's a whole layer of real emotional stuff.
I think that the real emotion they showed when she left was like it wasn't faked. It was all real.
Yeah.
Which made it more intense because you're just like, oh my gosh, they're really crying. Like you could see it.
Why, was she okay in the end, that actress? Is she still alive?
I'm not sure, but she did come back.
She did come back.
Yeah. So, which was nice.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm pretty sure she's okay.
She's okay, yeah. We're gonna have to look that up.
Yes, we definitely.
My favorite season of Power Rangers is probably Time Force.
Oh, I love Time Force too. They have that strong, like, Pink Ranger.
That's why I liked it. It was
she was so good.
Jen, the Pink Ranger on Time Force, is the first time I think the Pink Ranger was the team leader.
Oh yeah, she was definitely the leader. I mean, the Red, he tried.
Yeah.
But she was just like, no, this is my team. Like, you're just here as a guest.
Yeah, and it was sort of a funny premise too, because in that show, the Time Force, they all come back from the future, so essentially they needed someone to be a Red Ranger because the Red Ranger didn't come back with them, so they needed to get a DNA match, and his ancestor is this, like, rich kid, this snobby rich kid. You've been having to deal with that lately, maybe at your job a little bit?
Oh, yeah.
Tell us a little bit what you do to make a living.
Well, I'm a nanny, so I see all kinds of, like, different people, but I've encountered some people that are a little entitled, and I'm just like, well, okay. Like,
yeah,
it's very, like, you see, like, have you seen Portlandia?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, it's like that in real life.
Wow.
Like, have you seen when they have their kid and they forget that he's there?
No, I haven't seen that one.
There's this episode where they're just, like, trying to get him into a good school, but then they kind of forget he's there, and it's just, like, it's really like that, and it's strange, because I look at how I was raised, and I look at how this new generation's raised, and I'm just kind of like, I didn't have an iPhone when I was 5.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah.
I was, what was I doing? I was teaching an art class, and it was a clay class, and at the end of class, we told the kids they could make whatever they wanted.
Yeah.
Okay? Out of 6 kids, we had 2, I think it's 8 kids.
Okay.
2 iPhones, an iPad, and a BlackBerry.
That was what they made out of
That's
clay?
what they made. They could make anything. That's what they made. iPads.
See, like, as a kid, when we played with Play-Doh, we made Pokemon, we made Digimon, we made superheroes, and it's kind of sad that they're making iPhones.
Yeah. I mean, at the same time, I have to look back to when I was a kid, and, like, everyone's sort of acting like video games were, like, really stupid and bad for you, and there was no artistic redeeming content to them, and so I have to wonder, like, oh, is that what I'm doing to those kids? But I mean, I'm not saying video games are bad. I'm just saying wanting to.
Like, it might be the parallel.
Yeah, who knows? But also, it wasn't like I bet if I was like to make something out of clay, I would have made like, you know, Bulbasaur or something. But I wouldn't make like the TV that I played Nintendo on, definitely. You know what I mean? That's what's sort of weird about it.
The nice thing is some of the regulars I have, since I'm with them so much, I'm a big influence, you know, I'm around them.
Yeah.
So now they're into Sailor Moon, they're obsessed with Pokemon.
Oh my gosh.
And their parents are like, what did you do? And I'm just like, I'm sorry, I just started talking about Star Wars and Pokemon. And then the next time I come, the kids are like, look what I have. And it's like the trilogy that they're watching. So
yeah.
That's the part I really enjoy about my job, like getting to influence them.
Well, you must be such a great nanny because you're so great with the kids in We the Geeks of East LA. I mean, it must be so amazing to be those 2 little junior rangers because like their childhood is like something out of a movie, you know? Like,
I don't think they realize it. When we go to cons and people like take pictures of them, they're just like, oh, okay. And we're like, oh, it's because they know who you are. They watch your videos, and they're just like, well, how did they watch our videos? We're like, on the internet, like,
yeah.
And then we show them all the views, and they're just like, that many people saw us? And
yeah.
Like, yeah.
I mean, a little kid can't even process like 16 million views on YouTube. A little guy.
Yeah. Plus, they love dressing up.
Mm-hmm.
So, plus, when we're all in the squad, all dressed up together, you just feel like this unity and coolness and badassness.
Mm-hmm. And I see it, you know, it translates in the work you guys do, I think. But yeah, and it's so great too because, I don't know, sometimes I feel like, you know, when little kids, when Frozen was really big and there was just like a million
little Annas and Elsas.
Yes, and YouTube videos of kids singing Frozen.
Yeah.
And it was sort of like this thing where I was like, how many of these kids really want to sing Frozen? And it's like, how many of these kids, it's like their mom is like making them, and it's so obvious based on like everything you guys are doing that this is just like what the kid, like it's not like they're being like,
oh, like, no, you gotta do this.
You gotta,
yeah. Actually, they've directed some of them.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know if we don't really put it out there, but some of them, they come to us with the story like, hey, can we do this story? And we'll be like, get your costume on, let's go outside and film.
Let's shoot it.
Yeah, so
oh my gosh.
They're really into it. They want to be like, they want to make movies. Recently, we caught him like making with his toys, making movies on his phone.
Yeah.
And we're just like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm making a feature. And we're like, that is so cool.
Wow.
He made like a whole story and everything. So
that's a pretty empowered little. How old are these guys now?
they are 9 and 7 now.
Yeah.
But we started a couple years ago, so they were pretty young.
They were, yeah. No, that's what I remember. The videos, they were really young.
But now they're like, they'll come to us and be like, oh, we wrote this script. Like, can you like continue writing it and let's make it? And we'll be like, yeah, definitely. Like, let's do this.
Yeah.
So we like to give them as much power as we have, because I don't think we would have gotten as far without them, you know? Their heart really shows in everything.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I feel like I'm just so fascinated by everything you guys do. I wasn't even paying attention to this whole plot. I feel like something horrible is just, it looks like someone has died. We were at a funeral now?
Aww.
General Leo. Did you ever play any of these Final Fantasy games?
A long time ago, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I've been wanting to play again, but with so many video games these days, it's like overwhelming. Right now, I am playing Paper Mario.
Uh-huh.
So.
What were, like, some of the big video games from when you were a kid?
Oh, I don't know if this counts as a kid, but I was a huge Silent Hill fan.
Oh, yeah.
I loved Silent. I would put on my little cheap headphones, sit in the dark in my bed with a blanket over, and just, like, try to freak myself out while I was playing.
Mm-hmm.
So it was, I will always love Silent Hill. I love horror games.
Mm-hmm.
So that's mine. But, of course, anything Nintendo, like, me and my sister would spend hours and hours playing on our little first Game Boy Colors, our Pokemon games. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. Nintendo, it's like, the thing about Nintendo is they do make such great games, you know? I feel like, though, sometimes saying, like, oh, my favorite game is Pokemon, oh, my favorite game is Zelda, it's kind of being like, oh, yeah, I love the Beatles, I love the Rolling Stones.
Well, my favorite, I believe it's Crystal. It has to be with Totodile, because Totodile is my all-time
yes, that was Crystal.
favorite Pokemon ever. Mm-hmm. So that is my favorite game. It's got to be Crystal, because I love Totodile. So I have a shrine of Totodile stuff in my room.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, water Pokemon.
Water Pokemon, pretty cool.
Yeah. And then, like, I remember, like, the first games I remember playing, my dad had a Sega Genesis. So it was like Sonic the Hedgehog. We played Gauntlet. I don't know if you know Gauntlet. It's like a side scroller. Like, yeah, with just the maze. Like, yeah. We didn't even know what we were doing. We were kids, but we'd be like, this is awesome. Like, we get to control this little 8-bit guy on the screen. Oh, yeah. So, yeah. And then, of course, Mario. And we were obsessed with this game. I don't think it was popular, but the Addams Family game for Sega Genesis.
Oh, I don't think I played that one.
Yeah, we recently found, like, websites where they upload old, like, Sega games.
Oh, yeah, you can...
So, I'll play on the computer, like, my dad will be like, you're playing the Addams Family? I'll be like, yes, that's how much I love that game. It's a really good game.
Yeah, it's amazing how a lot of games, even though the graphics are, like, looking at, like, a cave painting compared to what we have now, they still really hold up. Yeah. As being just as fun or even more fun sometimes than games that come out now. Like Mario 3, like that's a timeless game. Like that's so, every level is so simple but different and unique, and it sort of has a little bit of RPG when you get the items. Yeah. But, so yes. And who else do you cosplay as? I know you were saying Harley.
Oh yeah, well I like to cosplay a lot of things. I did Star Fox, which I'm planning to redo. Yeah. I do Pokemon. I'm working on a Venusaur right now. Wow. So a Warrior Venusaur. So I'm working on that.
Well, I can't wait for that.
And then I love Adventure Time. So I'm working on a Marceline, and I love Avatar. So I'm trying to decide between which of the Fire Nation girls to do. Okay. But I love Fire Nation. Yeah. So it's just a bunch of, and then of course like other things. You know when you watch so much stuff, you're like, now I want to do that. Now I want to do that. Yeah. So I'm sure my list is going to grow. I've really been wanting to do Fallout Boy from The Simpsons.
Oh, yeah.
Because I love The Simpsons. And I'm just like, how has no one done Fallout Boy yet? Like, he's so cool. Yeah. So, yeah, I want to do him.
The Simpsons have so many characters. It's insane.
Yeah. Milhouse is always going to be my favorite, though. Yeah. I mean, I feel like I was a Milhouse back in the day.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I mean, I was a lame little girl with the dumb bull haircut. Because my mom decided to cut my hair one time, and it didn't end well. And I would just be playing on my Game Boy at recess, so I was like, I'm the Milhouse.
Oh, yeah. Milhouse's, dad, do you remember?
Oh, God.
Milhouse's dad when he gets a divorce.
Yeah, and then that's the tape, what was it? Can I buy you? Can you buy me?
Can I borrow a feeling?
Yeah, it's that one.
Can I borrow a feeling? Touch my hand with your glove of love. And he's like, girlfriend's like a DJ at like 3 a.m.
I know.
Starla.
Oh, and then she's like, I gotta go change my wig. She steals his car. I was like, oh. His life never works out.
Oh.
And then recently they've been making jokes like, are your mom and dad related? And he's like, I think so. And I'm just like, what?
Oh no.
Millhouse.
That, I feel like I've seen a lot of families though where the mom and the dad do look kind of similar.
Yeah.
It's real. Like when I was going out with my friend Dan Potts, his mom and dad looked so similar. But yeah, Millhouse is, I think, who would I relate to the most on The Simpsons? Definitely, sometimes as a child, felt like a Ralph a little bit.
Aw.
What was the? Oh yeah,
the leprechaun tell you to burn things.
You bent my Wookiee.
Oh.
Oh my gosh.
I love The Simpsons. I feel like everyone can connect to The Simpsons.
Do you still watch it though?
Yes.
You do still watch. You still think it's good?
Yeah. Oh no.
You don't think it's as good?
No. I mean, I rewatch all the old because I've been buying them.
Oh, okay.
But this morning actually, I was watching The Simpsons while getting ready, and I was just kind of like, I didn't laugh at all in this episode, and I was just like, that's sad.
Yeah.
The tone is just completely different, you know? It doesn't feel heartwarming like it used to.
Sure. They're kind of just dragging it out a little bit.
Yeah, it's kind of sad. I'm like, it's my favorite show of all time.
It might be the greatest TV show of all time
but
in a
now
way.
I'm kind of like it's okay if you guys stop. You know, people forget you even have new seasons.
Right.
I watch FX because that's where they have all the old episodes.
Oh yeah, they play the old episodes on there. That's cool.
Yeah, so I love The Simpsons.
But yeah, I mean, it's like I feel like like what seasons would you say it sort of maybe started going down a little bit?
I think, like, there's this one episode I remember where Bart gets emancipated and he meets, like, Tony Hawk and Blink-182.
Yeah.
And after that, the vibe just felt so different.
Yeah.
Like, that, I don't know if that was the exact point, but I remember around that time I was just like, oh, The Simpsons feels like not The Simpsons as much.
Well, because maybe they were going a little too far with some of the, like, celebrity cameos and stuff.
Yeah, there was a lot. I was like...
It was sort of less about, like, because the old Simpsons, what was so great about it is, yeah, they did, like, a little bit of stuff like that, but...
It was their storyline, mostly.
And also, they just were able to talk about the sort of human experience in a really general way that was also, would feel incredibly specific and relatable. That was sort of, like, what was so great about it. It wouldn't be, like, exactly like some cultural figure that you know, but it would be something close, you know what I mean? So yeah, I don't know.
It's just sad because I'm like, it was so golden.
It was pretty golden.
Yeah.
What are there any cons coming up that I should know about?
There's a lot of cons. I just need to see which one. Like, I know that there's new ones popping up every day. Like, new ones I haven't heard of. I mean, the main ones I'm excited for is WonderCon, of course.
What's that one? Tell me more about that one.
WonderCon is by the same people that do San Diego Comic-Con, but it's here in LA. It's going to be at the LA Convention Center. It used to be in Anaheim, but this is the first year it's going to be in Los Angeles.
Okay.
So they're switching it up because it's growing. I mean, if you do Comic-Con, of course anything you do is going to be pretty big.
Yeah. You've gone down to Comic-Con?
I've gone, like, in the area, but not to the actual because it's just crazy.
Yeah.
Craziness.
I've never actually even been to the actual thing.
The sad thing is that a lot of people I know, I ask them, like, are you going this year? And they're just like, I'm over it because the feel, it's like The Simpsons, like, the feel of it, it's so commercial now and it's being invaded, so they're kind of, like, turned off by the huge crowds and the expensive everything.
Expensive? It's really expensive? It's like food and stuff in there or something?
Everything is expensive because they know. They're like, oh, it's Comic-Con season. Everyone jack up your prices.
Right.
So it's crazy.
I mean, the most amazing to me has got to be that they had the line for the Marvel Hall panel there, and the line was like over 2 miles long to get into the hall.
The panels, like for Hall H, you basically have to camp there like all night before, even longer. Yeah. So some people, if you want to go to Hall H, that's basically all your Comic-Con. Right. That's where you're going to be the whole time.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like, I go to cons to meet people and interact.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, Comic-Con's nice, But I'd rather like the smaller cons like Long Beach where I could actually talk to people and like get to know them, have fun, not just be like in a crowd being pushed to keep walking down the aisle.
Yeah, my whole thing, like, I just feel like whenever I see a convention, like, what one did I go to? I think it was like the Pasadena Comics and Toy Show, I think is what it was called, or something like that. But it was a really small con, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I knew I was going to have fun at that because it wasn't going to be this big crazy thing and like, I have this, like, you know, everything you're describing, because it's sort of like, I don't know, it's just a different feeling.
Yeah, that's where we were there too. We went as Power Rangers, of course.
Yeah.
But it just feels like the little cons are so nice because it feels more like a family reunion and everyone's just in a costume.
Right, exactly.
So it's just really chill and you get to enjoy yourself and meet genuine people, not people just there like to say, oh, I'm here, you know.
Yeah, right. What I grew up with was the WizardCon in Philly, which is put on by the same people.
Oh, yeah.
But it's a lot smaller than the I mean, Comic-Con in my just lifetime and the whole like utility of comic book conventions has completely changed.
Yeah, it's definitely not the same anymore.
What was the first con you ever went to, do you think?
The first con I went to was, I believe, the first Kamikaze.
Uh-huh.
Because, I mean, I had always liked geek stuff, but I didn't really have friends that were like, oh, let's do this stuff. It was kind of just like, oh, you're lame. Like, why do you like this stuff?
Yeah.
So I was always on my own, you know, like trying to figure stuff out. And then luckily when I met my boyfriend, we were both kind of like, hey, we like comic books and stuff.
Right.
So we found out about the con because of my mom. She's really supportive. She's just like, there's a con in LA, like you should go.
Yeah.
So we got tickets, and ever since then it's like, as many cons as we can go to, we
yeah.
go to now.
Yeah, I'm starting to get into that mode a little bit too because, you know, I went to art school for art and all that stuff, and so I go to a lot of art openings, and I kind of just realized at a certain point that, like, you know, when I go to art openings, sometimes you leave, and I'm like, I don't really know what this art was about, and I don't really know, like, what my art's about, and you start asking yourself all these big questions, because most of the people at art shows are also artists. That's something that I find a lot in the art world. But all the people at
everyone's trying to see like where they stand, kind of.
Exactly. Yeah. And the thing about a convention is everyone there is just a fan. Yeah. They just like this stuff. They're not there with really ulterior motives.
Yeah,
you know?
It's just like, hey, I want to just go and be part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I love about it. It's like, hey, you put on a costume, I put on a costume. You like the show, I like the show too.
And you see like so many like obscure cosplays that you wouldn't.
Oh yeah, definitely. I love seeing like the little random things that you never think, and you're just like, wow, this person, like, we're gonna be friends because they saw this little tiny character in the back of the screen that I saw.
Right. What's one of those that you can think of?
A weird reference. What? I'm trying to think. Like, I know I've seen a bunch of weird random characters, but I'm trying to think. Like, even characters from music videos I've seen before.
Oh, sure.
Like, I saw the Blink-182 nurse once, and I was just like, oh my gosh, funny. You're real.
I saw do you watch Game of Thrones at all?
Yeah, I love Game of Thrones. Oh my gosh, I love it so much.
I saw someone cosplaying as the Shame Nun from Game of Thrones.
Oh, just like walking around.
Yeah, like going like, shame. Yeah. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, I love Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah, it's coming back though.
I know, I'm excited. What house are you? Do you have any house?
You know what? I really love Asha Greyjoy from. She hasn't been on enough. I don't know why. It's
she was a strong character.
It's like what you're talking about though. It's like sometimes it's just the character that's just on a little bit, and you just start thinking about like, oh, what's their deal? You know, like what are they doing when we don't see them? And so, you know, she's a captain of a boat called
I feel like she's planning a takeover.
Yeah, and her boat was called the Sea Bitch. I just thought that was a really good name. And then, so she's my favorite. I have a signed autograph from the actress who played her.
Cool. Yeah, I loved her character because when she first meets up with her brother and he's like feeling her up and he's like, why did you let me? She's like, that's how you see how men really act. And I was like, it's so true. Like, she was testing him like, damn, this girl doesn't play.
No, that was a pretty, that was definitely showed his true colors in that scene. Who is some of your favorite characters? What house are you?
I love the Tyrells and of course Stark, but not all the Starks. I'm more of a team Arya.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I really don't like Sansa.
Yeah, well, she's just so like. I mean, it's kind of like this thing, like, you know, like people you could say like.
I can't blame her because she was super sheltered. But I feel like everyone else adjusted quickly, and she was still like.
Yeah, it's a man's world, but everyone else, you know, Arya and even Khaleesi, who does get on my nerves sometimes, they all figured out how to get some leverage.
They play the game, and I feel like Sansa didn't play. But I heard in the new season that she's gonna.
She's starting to a little bit.
She's gonna play the game now.
She's starting to a little bit.
Because I wanna like her.
Yeah.
So we'll see about that.
Yeah, we'll see. And the Tyrells are great because they're Marjorie is so great.
Oh, I love her. I'm like, you know, every time she smiles, she already has a plan in the back of her head.
Right. She's so smart, you know.
Yeah.
She's like she's like just always, and she has good intentions, I think.
No, yeah, that's why I like her. Like, I feel like they're playing the game for the right reasons.
Yeah.
Oh, and then I love the spider. I love Varys. I love Varys.
It's crazy though because so many characters on that show are like most of the characters on the show are not heroic. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
They're all kind of bad, especially now that Jon Snow is dead or might be dead. We don't really know what the heck's going on with that.
I know. It's kind of like you don't know who to trust because they show one face and then later it's another face, and it's like.
Right, and I think it's kind of great because, you know, there's a lot of stuff with fantasy stuff with princesses and knights and all that type of thing, but like. The reality is, I think, like, in those times...
It would be like that.
It was really bad, kind of. In Europe, you know, in those days, or, like, sort of what it's based off of, I think, is Europe. Yeah. It was kind of a really barbaric time for humans.
Yeah.
I think most historians agree that actually, like, Roman times, people were kind of doing a little better. Like, the technology and the religion was a little bit less oppressive, but...
Then they all got crazy. I feel like it's true because of the whole power struggle. I feel like that's as true in every part of history. Like, we do our cycles and it's the same thing.
Yeah, sure. So what's the next video you guys are gonna make for We the Geeks of East LA?
We actually have a collaboration in the works right now. It's in editing with a fellow Power Ranger YouTuber named Chris Cantata.
Okay.
So it's like a really short, like, just funny video that we did one part and he's gonna do the other part just in between while we're figuring out like the bigger videos to do.
Yeah.
Because they do take time to plan. I mean, we all have busy lives, so it's kind of like we plan when we do them.
And you're a big group, so it's impressive that you get all the stuff done and the unity, so much unity is already kind of there. Yeah. I think.
Luckily, we all flow so easily, or else I feel like it'll take longer. But we all have our, like, you know what to do, like, let's do it. Yeah.
There you go. And like, your boyfriend does the video editing.
Yeah, and then I do, like, I film everything. If I'm not in the scene, it's because I'm filming everything.
You're filming. Yeah. I mean, not video editing, he does the special effects.
Oh, yeah, the special effects.
Yeah.
And then, like, we all work on the voiceover, because lately we've been doing more voiceovers because it's just easier. To like, it sounds better.
It sounds it sounds a lot better, yeah.
And
especially
then, like, any makeup and costumes, like, I take care of course. So it's just a team effort. We all do different stuff.
Yeah, and because there's that one video where one of the little guys is sitting on the Zord's shoulder.
Oh my gosh, yeah, someone was
I just remember seeing that and being like, oh my gosh, if I was a kid and somebody made that for me, like. Because that's not just, like, something anyone can just make, you know what I mean?
No, yeah.
That really is, like, because I was a really, like, in my head little kid. I used to, like, walk around. I used to pace like a cat and, like, imagine, like, different, like, if all my friends were superheroes or just stuff like that. And it's totally,
I feel like they don't realize it now, but when they get older, they're going to be like, oh my gosh, like, I was such a cool little kid.
Yeah, or when they're just talking to people, they're going to be like, so, like, what was it like when you were a kid?
Yeah, and then, like, most kids, they don't go to cons. They don't even know what cons are. And
oh, yeah.
They're at every con with us, so.
Yeah, like, I remember the first con I went to was probably in New York, and I just found out about it because there was a ad for it in comic book.
Yeah.
And my dad took me to that, but like that was like I was like really going above and beyond with that.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know anyone else who was going to that stuff.
Yeah.
But the Wizard Con in Philadelphia was so great because there was a guy who used to go and he did traditional Chinese brush paintings.
Oh, that's cool.
But he did all like you could get any superhero you wanted. Just completely request like Storm, Nightcrawler.
That's cool. I saw someone one time that I really loved. It was Psylocke.
Yeah.
But done in that style, but she was like a samurai, and I'm like, it's freaking beautiful. But
yeah.
Of course, it sold right away. So.
Yeah. Are you an X-Men?
Yeah. My dad, I owe my geekness to my dad because my dad was, it's funny because he was a jock and people thought he was tough, but he was like a Dungeons and Dragons night kind of guy. Mm-hmm. So, like, he's the one that got me into, like, watching all the old cartoons. Like, when I was little, I would remember watching Toonami with my dad.
Sure.
So, like, we would be watching Dragon Ball Z and Thundercats and, like, Gundam and all this stuff. And I would watch it
Gundam.
because he was watching it. So I feel like if he hadn't watched it, then I wouldn't be who I am today.
He was a jock, though, too?
Yeah, he was, like, a straight-up, like, football player guy. And like people thought he was like the tough guy when in reality he's like he writes poetry and he watches anime all day. So like I tell people when they see him they're just like your dad looks scary and I'm like oh yeah my dad's just watching Naruto right now like so it's pretty funny like
oh my gosh
it's a surprise.
Did your dad meet your mom at high school?
Okay it's so weird. My grandparents live across the street from each other. So when my parents were in middle school, like they grew up across the street, but they didn't really talk.
Right.
But one day my dad sent his brother with an ice cream to my mom's house. Like so she accepted the ice cream, and then they kind of started going out. So they've been going out since they were 13.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
And what neighborhood is this in?
They were in Boyle Heights.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're still there.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm just like, ew, you guys have been together forever.
That's a cute story.
Yeah, so it's like the jock who's a geek and the Catholic schoolgirl who's an artist, and they made me.
And yeah.
Yeah.
What does your dad do now?
Right now, well, he worked in the office, but he hates being trapped.
Oh yeah.
So he's a trucker because he loves being out in the world and meeting people.
Yeah.
So that's what he does.
He sounds like a cool dude.
Yeah, I love my dad.
Oh my gosh. My dad totally, it was the same thing. My dad totally was the one who got me into comics because he would read Marvel comics when he was a kid, and he would like tell me like stories about the different characters, and that's how I got into it. I think that's like one of my favorite ways to learn about like superheroes and stuff. Like I remember one time at a Pokemon thing that I hosted, this girl was telling all these other people there like the plot of Kingdom Hearts. I don't know if you played Kingdom Hearts, but it's incredibly confusing and super weird. But she was explaining it to all these people for like 2 hours.
Oh my! So she actually went in full detail.
She went into full detail and everything, and everyone was just listening to her. And I was like, "Geez, where else?" Like
she was Twitch without the screen.
Exactly. It was like she was like telling like the lore, you know, like the mythology, like
where's the campfires?
Right, exactly. It was that total vibe, and that's what I really like. That's what I really like about fandom.
Yeah.
Fandom. I feel like you guys kind of introduced me or made me okay with like even using the word fandom.
Yeah. I use that word a lot because I was like, I didn't know how to explain things, so I'd just be like, oh, the fandom.
Yeah.
Some people still don't know what I'm talking about at school, and I'm just like, it's like the group of people that it's like Kingdom but of fans.
Yeah, exactly. The fandom for Pokemon is the people who are fans of Pokemon.
Yeah.
But I think it's exactly what you're saying. It's like you guys dress up like Power Rangers to make other people feel comfortable saying it. You know what I mean? So fandom always sounded like almost too geeky of a word for me to say. But then when I heard you guys saying it a lot, I was like, you know what? No.
Like it's a legit word.
This is a legit word.
Yeah.
This is a legit thing, and this is legit. Like I'm in some fandoms. That's just the reality of the situation.
Yeah. I think that was just the thing, like taking pride in what we love, because growing up, I'm sure we all had the opposers.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I remember when I was 15, I dated my first boyfriend, and he told me, oh, you just like comic books to get attention. I was like, attention from who? I've been picked on.
Right.
Like, who am I getting attention from?
Like, he was trying to say, See, that sounds like a little sexist, right?
No, yeah, he definitely was, yeah.
Because the reason why he thinks you're pretending to like comic books to get attention is so that you could like seem like some guy's dream girl, right?
Yeah.
When really you were just interested for yourself, you know?
No, yeah, like I was the one who made him go see like the first like Iron Man and all those.
Yeah.
And, like I would always go because before there was no girls section of comic book shirts, so I would go to Target in the little boy section and buy those shirts.
Exactly.
So I'd be like, why would I spend all this money and like time if I was just faking it?
Yeah, and
but I feel like that's what we all have. We all have those people, you know, like.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I remember in my elementary school, we were allowed to play Pokemon before school.
Yeah.
And that was really fun because, you know, you could all just meet up before school. But there was these kids who didn't like Pokemon for who knows why. They had such a thing against it.
They were aliens.
But they just thought it was lame or corny or whatever. And so one of the kids stole a copy of, I guess, Red version and caught a Pokemon, named it Fuck, and showed it to the principal.
Like to get all of it banned for all
to get all of it banned. And the stupidest part was he eventually came around and started to like Pokemon.
See, that's what always happens. That's the thing. Like, there's people, like, you know, you always gotta be the bigger person. And there's people I remember that would, like, think I was the weird girl because I was the geek. Mm-hmm. And now they're kind of like, well, I like this and I like that. I'm like, oh, that's nice. Thanks for, like, picking on me for liking the exact same thing 10 years ago.
Oh, my gosh. And it's also, like, what you were talking about a little bit being a girl. Like, have you seen the Portlandia where they talk about being a real nerd?
Yes.
Well,
I'm not gonna lie, that's so true.
Yeah.
If I go places, they're just kind of like, oh, sweetie, do you need help? And I'm like, I know what I came here for.
Yeah, like you know what's up.
Your help, thanks.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, at one point I laughed about it, but then I was kind of like, but you know what? There can be nerds, people who are pretty girls and are nerds.
Yeah.
It's not exclusive club.
Yeah, I'm like, you like what you like.
Right, exactly. And you don't, you know, it's so crazy, like, how we don't, you know, you don't get to choose what body you're born into.
No, yeah.
Or
like, I've met people that I think are, like, geeky, and then it's like, oh, they're the ultimate sports fan of every sport ever. And
yeah.
I'm just like, whoa. But they're geeks about that. They're sports geeks.
Mm-hmm. And God bless them.
Yeah.
So you're also a big you've watched Drag Race too.
Oh, I love drag. Oh my gosh, yes. Team Kimchi!
And it's so amazing because this season of Drag Race, really more than ever, there are, I would say...
cosplayers.
Yeah, there's definitely, I would say at least two people who are very clearly influenced by the convention scene and cosplay and all that stuff.
That's actually how I found Kimchi, because she's in a group with a lot of, like, really cosplayers I admire, and like in the geek culture, like hardcore.
Yeah.
So that's where I found Kimchi. When I found out she was on Drag Race, I was like, that's it, that's my girl.
Mm-hmm.
And then I know the other one is Daxclamation, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, the cosplayer.
Yeah, and that I'm pretty sure her name is taken actually from a Star Trek character.
Yeah.
Who is like the best way I could describe it is like a slug that lives in different people's bodies and like so has like memories from all these different lifetimes. So
very
like
metaphorical.
So like in some lifetimes Dax was a boy, in some lifetimes Dax was a girl. So it's a good drag name.
Oh yeah, I like Dax. She came out rocking that storm. I was like,
yeah,
I like it.
And I feel like there might have been even someone else who felt kind of Beetlejuice. I mean, there was a little bit of a cosplay element to that, but.
But
we'll see.
Sure we'll get into it. See, that's what I like. Like, of course, all drag queens are beautiful, but I love the ones that are outside of the box. Because there's a lot of pageant queens, but I was like, go Kimchi, like, rock that anime look.
And Michelle Visage and like some Drag Race people have actually judged some cosplay competitions at conventions.
Oh, really?
I think.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think at Kamikaze, Michelle Visage judged a cosplay contest.
Oh, that makes sense, because lately I've seen a connection, like Kamikaze, they've been promoting the DragCon, and I'm like, oh, like they're bringing the communities together.
That's interesting you say that. DragCon actually, they work with Kamikaze, like you were saying, because they didn't know what they were doing when they wanted to set up a convention, so they worked with Kamikaze. My friend Rudy actually is the director, or I don't know. He like basically is the manager for DragCon.
Oh, that's so cool.
I don't know.
Planning to go. All of us are going.
Yeah, I would love to go.
Yeah.
But he was working with those kamikaze guys.
Yeah, it's just so cool though that like the communities are like going together, because there's a lot of cosplay. Of course, you know that it's not. I don't know if it counts as drag, but you know they're cross gender.
Yeah, crossplay. They would almost call it.
Like I know a lot of friends that I know that are guys. They cosplay as girls, and they're beautiful girls.
Sure.
So it's kind of interesting to see the connection with DragCon, because now my friends from the drag community, and then I'm from cosplay, and they're kind of like, oh, I want to cosplay now, but as a girl, and I'm like, do it, girl.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's always really cool, and I feel like it's nice because there is a real connection there. Has there been any like con celebrity type people that you've met that you've been really starstruck by or were really nice?
Jessica Negri.
Who's Jessica Negri?
She's a really like popular. Well, she's controversial because her cosplays, they started out skimpy, but she's really talented. I think a lot of people don't give her the credit because she really is super talented. She makes these crazy armor builds that are super intricate, and she's a genuinely like nice person. But I think it goes back to the she's too pretty to be a geek thing.
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
It's kind of like, she's doing it for attention. Like, I've heard her talk. She's a geek.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
She's hardcore with it. I mean, even I sort of feel like whenever I go to, and it's totally on. I mean, maybe it's not, but I think a lot of it is actually just me. But like, I was at what was I at? A baby shower the other week, and there was a bunch of kids playing Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and I don't know anything about Yu-Gi-Oh cards, but I was interested in what they were doing. But I was like, I feel like I'm not enough of a geek. It's funny because I'm completely at home, like talking to people at like an art opening or something where people are like really egotistical.
Oh yeah.
But then when I go to like a Pokemon get together where people are just like really shy and nice, that's when I get more insecure. It's very strange.
I think it's this weird thing that we all do where it's kind of like, oh, well, what if I don't know enough and they think like I'm not like a true fan? And I think we all kind of suffer from that, because I felt that before. Like some things I love talking about, but then I'll hear other people talking, I'll be like, oh, well, do I want to join their conversation? Like, what if I say the wrong thing, or I don't know this?
Yeah, and you it's sort of along with the cosplay bullying thing. Like, just like you shouldn't bully someone because their cosplay isn't super crazy pro, right? You shouldn't say, oh, you can't be in this fandom because you haven't seen all 20 seasons of Power Rangers.
I think that's the thing that's a little ridiculous, though, because it's kind of like sometimes, you know, we all have different lives. We all come into different experiences at different times, or so it's like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't watch that anime when it came out 10 years ago. Like, that doesn't mean I don't like it less than you.
Right, exactly.
It's all about how we connect to things.
And how we can share that, too.
Like, I've been tested on, do I really like Power Rangers? And it's so annoying, because they'll be like, oh, well, have you seen this season? And I'll be like, okay.
Oh, so obnoxious.
Yeah, I'm like, well, I don't have to explain myself to you, but I can name like every season, and I watch the Japanese one. Like, do you watch the Japanese one?
Right, exactly.
So it's kind of like, I've met a lot of guys that test me, and I'm kind of like...
It's always the guys, you think?
Yeah. And it's kind of like, at school, there was this group of like geeky people, and they were playing Yu-Gi-Oh, and I was like, oh, that's so cool, so I want to talk to them, and they brushed me off. They were just like, oh, you're in an X-Men shirt? Like, have you ever read X-Men? And I was like, wow, okay, we could have been friends, but not anymore. Yeah. That's why you're here by yourself.
Right, exactly. I will admit to being a little bit guilty of doing it because I don't know, when you're a gay guy, there's all these apps, Grindr, Scruff. I mean, those apps are for straight people. I mean, Tinder too. Yeah. But on those, you can like, it's kind of bad, but you can like choose like what type of guy you are, and one of the choices is geek, right?
Yeah, but then anyone can like.
But everyone clicks that, and it's like I feel like people lie about being. It's kind of funny. It's like the really muscly guys are insecure that they're not smart enough, and then the really like not muscly guys are insecure about that. You know what I mean? Yeah. But we all have to have insecurities. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So they want to like be like, yeah, I'm a geek, you know?
Yeah.
But it's more like
because they don't want to fall short in the other things.
Right, exactly. Yeah. It's crazy.
Can you Humans are crazy. We're all
crazy.
I just think I was just like, well, I had cute girls I could introduce you to, but then you had to be a dick.
Then you had to be a jerk.
Yeah. And I always see them now, and they try to say hi to me, and I'm just like...
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, okay. Because apparently I had the cred now, but I was like, who's to say that?
I mean, you're like on a whole nother level, you know, now. Well, I definitely commend you for staying in the fandoms, in spite of it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like, it's tough, but I'm like, I can't change who I am, and I can't hide what I love. Like,
yes.
If I go to Target and there's like the dollar section, there's Star Wars stuff, I'm gonna buy one of everything.
Right, and things are changing, I think, too.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I think I really felt the change when Star Wars, like, the new one was coming out.
Yeah.
And every store in the mall had Star Wars clothes. Forever 21 had it. The Disney store had it. Charlotte Russe had it. Like, everyone had Star Wars stuff.
It's
and I was
true.
just like, 10 years ago, I had to go to the little boy section at Target to get a Darth Vader shirt.
Right, now, I mean, I remember they did for Star Wars, they did, lipstick or something like that, but it was like a lightsaber.
Oh, yeah. I'm wearing the Star Wars mascara right now. That
Oh
someone
my
sent
gosh.
me. So it's just like so immersive and out there now.
Yeah, Star Wars made some good moves with that this time around. I mean, even if you don't like everything that happened in the plot, you gotta give them props for being like, really?
Yeah, I admire that they wanted to include everyone. Like, they were just like, if you like Star Wars, here's everything that you could ever want.
We'll see what happens in the next one, but it is definitely was not, definitely was very open-ended.
Oh, yeah.
Well, thanks so much for coming on the show.
I'm glad you asked me to come.
I'm so glad.
I was nervous. I was like, what am I going to say? I don't know what to say.
Well, you guys are... I really look up to you guys a lot and think of you as just sort of like the rock stars. You're rock stars of the whole East LA nerd scene, but just LA in general, and I just love what you guys are doing for the community.
Well, thank you so much, and we love what you do.
Oh, thank you.
That was the first Pokemon event we went to.
Yeah.
Yours? Yeah. So.
That was a fun one. That was the first time I showed any of those drawings.
Yeah,
so
I
it was
made a
really
lot
cool.
of good friends there, too, that I talk to all the time, so we thank you for that.
And on that note, everyone should come out to the 24-hour Pokemon-a-thon at USC on April 2nd and the 3rd. It's going to be so great. It's going to be to raise money for the animal shelter. If you want more info, email me at johnnyjungleguts.com and johnnyjungleguts@gmail.com. And, come on out. All right. Bye-bye.